guys, it's Miss Foley, and we have been reading the story called A Day and Night in the Desert. And we've learned a lot about desert animals and what they need, like food, water, and their homes. So today we're going to focus on just a few of these animals, and we're going to talk about what they use to help them survive in the desert. Because some of these animals in our story, they use something specific to help themselves survive. So let's review a couple of these pages to decide which animals we are talking about. So I wanted to point out this page, and the animal that I wanted to talk about first was the tortoise. So we know it says a desert tortoise searches for flowers, leaves, and grass. Its tough shell helps keep it cool. The tortoise breaks off plants with its mouth and chews them. When the tortoise is done eating, it goes back into its cool burrow. So, what does the tortoise use to help protect itself? It's what? It's shell, right? The tortoise needs that shell. It's protection for them. Have you ever walked by a turtle or a tortoise? When you walk by, they go in their shell and they hide. It protects them from other animals that might eat them as prey. So keep that in your mind, a desert tortoise. Our next animal. Let's talk about the squirrel here. It says, by afternoon, the desert air is very hot. Most animals stay out of the sun, but the antelope ground squirrel does not seem to mind. It scampers across the desert floor, gathering seeds, fruits, and insects. Its tail shades its body like an umbrella. So what does the desert squirrel use to help protect itself from the sun? Right, it uses its tail. Its tail acts as like an umbrella, the book tells us. So we know a tortoise uses its shell, the squirrel uses its tail. And then there's one other fun fact we learned. So when we look at this page, we are looking at the fun fact that talks about the jackrabbit. So let's find it. Jackrabbit. It says, large ears help it to stay cool. So a jackrabbit has large ears that help it to stay cool. So what does the jackrabbit use to protect itself from the sun? Right, its large ears. Now let's go on to our project for today. So if we were in school, we would be talking about these animals. So it says, think about ideas from different parts of the text and put them together to form a new idea. Draw how each animal survives in the desert. So a desert tortoise, it uses its what? Shell. And you'll see I have an example of a shell. An antelope ground squirrel uses its what? Tail. Right. And then I use the example of a knit fox because we know the knit fox uses the hair on its feet to protect the bottom of its feet. But that's not the one we're going to use today. I want you to talk about the jackrabbit. So right here, you're going to draw the jackrabbit. And you're going to make sure you draw it with really big ears because its ears protect them from the sun. And then when we look at the bottom, it says, put it together. How do animals survive in the desert? And you draw the things that they use. So they use the shell, they use their tail, maybe they use their paws or their ears. And you draw those things down here. Now, this is not something that you have to turn into Class Dojo. This is just to help us make a better connection to the story. We're talking about animals and what they use to protect themselves with. So you can even use a blank piece of paper and draw these animals with those body parts that protect them, but make sure you label what animal it is and label the body part that they use. No need to submit this into Class Dojo. This is just a fun activity. See you later.